Danny, first thing I saw as far as rumors about the Post was, I think it was Friday night, we found out that they're not sending sports reporters to the Olympics. That was a jaw-dropping moment for me. That was a flooring kind of remember where you are because it's all over moment for someone who loves the sports reporting and coverage industry. Then within a day or two, news came out that the Washington Post is considering getting rid of its sports section altogether. We have now seen subsequently reporting done by people who cover sports media saying that as of right now, their Washington Nationals reporters don't have planned trips or flights down to spring training, that they have been telling other reporters not to book things in the weeks ahead. So we have no idea where this stands, what's going on. Just out of respect to some of my buddies that work at the Post,
right.
I haven't reached out to them over the last couple of days because I was assuming they're getting flooded, and it's a pretty awful time for them, I'm sure, as they're finding all of this out like the rest of us. But before I hop in on this, what was your first thought on that?
Yeah, and you mentioned so many folks that we know obviously are employed there, and I felt like it was inappropriate to send any kind of messaging about rumors, because that's what it looks like or is reading as. These are, according to sources, this is what's possible. Again, I don't know what I don't know there. It's very awkward, and I definitely feel it. There's no way around the fact that times have changed, and in this regard, I don't think they've changed for the better. The Washington Post sports section, and I still harken back to the time where I had it in my hand, and I would turn and read all the various columns and all the various esteemed sports folks and the incredible beat reporters and the people that I kind of came to know and trust as the players changed. The people that brought me the broadcasts were more important at times than were even some of the moving pieces. And I felt that way about that Post sports coverage. The world is so different and everything has changed to such a high degree that it's one of those, you already kind of said it. Like, remember where you are, because just as a reminder that the thing that you grew up as it was may or may not exist anymore, or if it exists now, it's on the way out.
But there's no reason for it not to exist. I understand this paper's losing money and hemorrhaging money probably. And there's a lot of reasons for that, right? Every industry is struggling right now. Radio, TV, you name it. We see it all the time in our own lives and on our own businesses. But if you think about it, like, subscribers declined significantly. I remember back in 2024 when Bezos squashed a presidential endorsement, and there was a massive exodus of people that got the paper. And I don't know if it's recovered or where they're at this point or how it all works now. What I do know, though, is there is zero reason for one of the most established pillars of journalism in one of the biggest media cities in America in terms of market, one of the larger media markets, a top 10 market, to have a sports section. I don't care if it's a couple columnists and a couple beat writers. You can't not. But you see this. It's sad, but compare local TV to 20 years ago. George Michael's Sports Machine and knowing who all of the sports reporters were on your local channel. And now, most of the time, they're going to have a news guy do it, or a freelance reporter who's got another job will come in, and do it. And you just go through the channels right now. How many people have full-time sports department anchors? They don't really exist, and that would have been crazy. But that, to me, while ridiculous and unacceptable, is not the Washington Post, the home of Kornheiser and Wilbon and so many greats along the way. My question would be this. When we talk about the Post shuttering its sports section, are we talking solely about the paper losing the sports section, and then they still have those writers and those folks covering sports online and just in a different way, platforms, and they're just not in print? What are you taking that to mean?
I take it to mean that the high expenditure, lower return on investment, like it's a regular business, thing might go away. In other words, when you pay for a beat reporter, that's tens of thousands of dollars that are going towards travel and meals and this team thing and showing up where they are and the hotels and everything. I want it. I'm not saying I don't agree with it, but just bear with me. Those limited returns on investment are now line items to somebody going, yeah, that's too expensive. The same with the international desk, which is also, kind of, I think, potentially on the chopping block too, according to some of the rumors. And again, this is so uncomfortable because I don't know what's real and what's not. But it's the same kind of deal where you're paying for someone to live all over the world and, reimbursing, and it's like maybe not the bang for your buck as some other tactics might be. So to me, it was this thing might legitimately go away, the way that I was reading some of those rumors that were out there, which I just kind of can't believe.
To reiterate my question, is this in print? Like the newspaper won't have
No, I mean, it's gone. I mean, there isn't one. That's how I read it.
So then for me, if the suggestion is that they would not have sports columnists, that they would not have sports reporters as the primary outlet that would break sports news in this town on all of the beats currently, that's not a reality that exists for me. That can't happen, so let's figure out something else. It doesn't sound like you view it that way, though.
What do you mean? I think I'm a bit behind or confused.
Well, you're saying you're acting like it's a donut shop, right? And if I'm losing money on the donut shop, then I got to get rid of the donut shop. I'm saying there's too much of a significant responsibility to the public for this to not exist.
Oh, I would like to hat for a second, trying to figure out the reading the tea leaves here as to what might be happening. I would like the sports section to continue. I don't know if I wasn't clear about that. I would very much like to continue to read it. I read it all the time, and I'll continue to do so as long as it exists. I was just basically saying, reading what I did in terms of the rumors and things that are out there, it sounds like it's very real that it might go away altogether, which I just find unfathomable, just that I've lived long enough to see that. That's what it looks like to me.
Right.
That's what I got.
Yeah, I am stunned by the news, and I'm curious to see what happens next. But I've got to imagine that in some capacity, the Washington Post will have a sports section. It would make no sense not to. You've got teams in all four major sports in this town. It's a top 10 media market. They were forever the preeminent voice on sports in the city. And even if that's not going to be the case moving forward, the idea of no sports section, if the Post doesn't have one, then I don't know how much longer anybody keeps fighting the good fight. It's really damaging and awful if you're someone like me who cares about this stuff. And if you grew up reading the Post and caring about columnists and people's sports opinions, it's just unfathomable how fastly this whole thing's unraveling in front of us.